I tell you what, because you are all right on time, I'm going to get us going with a little bit of what you can expect in today's session. And we're going to have a little time right at the beginning for some feedback about your homework. So get ready. We are going to jump right in, and we're going to begin by introducing what we're going to cover this week. And then we're going to jump into the homework that we just finished. So let me share with you my screen. All right, so first, welcome. Welcome to each and every person here. We're so excited that you joined us for week 2 of the 4 strategic moves that increase visibility, expand your thought leadership, and really drive growth. Now, in today's session, we're going to craft the kind of story that captures attention, creates connection, and turns curiosity into clients. Because your story isn't just a nice to have, it is your most persuasive client attracting tool. So today you're going to learn how to create a really powerful 5-second hook that opens doors and stops scrolls. And you're also going to learn how to develop a compelling 5-minute origin story that deepens trust and showcases your authority, whether you're on stage, in a podcast interview, or having a one-on-one conversation in a direct message. And I got to tell you, here's what I know. When your story reflects your brilliance, your values, and your voice, it becomes absolutely unforgettable. So today is all about making your message magnetic. Now, before we dive in, let's check in. It has been so exciting to see all the activity on our community page. And I want to be sure that all of you know exactly where to go to be active in our community page. So this is an example of some of the activity that I have been noticing, watching, interacting with from all of you. It's been so exciting to see all the activity in our community page. So many of you have downloaded the valuable tools, the resources, the exercise, and so many of you are sharing your insights, your perspectives, and your critiques with other leaders. And I gotta tell you, that is where you're gonna find the real gold. So big shout out to Rosemary Keogh Smythe, Amanda Taylor, Ariel Faith, Susan Younger, Laura Patterson, Kate Wilkes, and Sherry Mills for being at the very top of our leaderboard. I tell you, all of you have extra chances to win that LinkedIn Live with me at the end of today's session because you are at the top of our leaderboard, which means you are active, you are engaged, you're showing up, you're sharing your homework, your exercises, you're leaning in, and you're really investing in your success, which I could not be more excited about. Now, today, we're going to go through just a little bit of the homework, and you'll see here that there have been so many amazing shares about homework, about ideal client descriptions, the spherical branding brief. I mean, a lot of wonderful, wonderful introductions to each other's business. And so we're going to stop for just a second. We're going to talk about that. Your ideal customer exercise, your spherical branding exercise, and what's in it for me. So what was your aha moment? What were you most excited about when it comes to your homework? Really what you learned. It's just an open forum. You are welcome to come off mute and just dive in or raise your hand and we'll call on folks. But I would love for all of us to learn from each other and share your biggest aha moment, your breakthrough, what you were able to gain from the first session and apply to your business. Wendy?
Yeah, thank you. So I wasn't representing the essence of who I am, which is that I go beyond all the blueprints and I create things for myself. I decide for myself. I don't follow anybody else's rules, and that's what I hope my clients to do. In fact, one of my clients just told me he made Salesman of the Month 2 months in a row. because he is that high achiever. He's following his truth. He's following his things, and we're getting him in alignment with his truth. So that's really what I do. I love doing relationships, but sovereignty and self-ownership is really what I focus on.
And so that was your breakthrough, really getting clear about what your unique value is to your clients. That's great. I love that. Kathy, what was your breakthrough? What was your aha moment?
Yeah, I think my breakthrough was really viewing everything from my client's perspective and really identifying what are potential pain points. And, there's certain emotions that kind of circle around what I do. And, safety and confidence were two of them that I identified, so that now I look at how I present things more from providing their needs rather than what I think they need.
Oh, that's so smart. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing, Kathy. And you're right. Looking at your business from your client's perspective is always a breakthrough. That it always leads to clarity and conviction. That is where you're able to create real relationships and compassionate understanding with your client, because you're communicating to them that you understand their challenges, you understand their pain, and you have a solution that will alleviate that. So I love that. All right, Sarah, how about you? What was your breakthrough? What was your aha moment?
Yeah, it actually came after I had submitted the homework to the thing. Like, I still love the and life, which is just living in your magnetic identity, having the muscle, the mindset, the faith kind of thing. But what really like came to me was a few days later of really transitioning, still having that life coach aspect, but I am a personal trainer. I have always been a personal trainer since 2008, and new opportunities have been popping up for me lately, and just really making that more of who I am with women in business and whatnot. So that's been really exciting. So I actually need to update what I have written here, and just the clarity that came, and the women that I want to help. A lot of, women entrepreneurs who don't have time or don't want to be in the gym, or like, give me specifically what to do to build muscle and be there with them with that. That's what's been happening for me.
I love that for you, Sarah. That truly is a breakthrough, to really move beyond just the superficial, why would you want to work out, to what is the transformation that you really are looking for, and really diving into the transformation. So smart. Rosie, I want to, congratulate you for being the top of our leaderboard. I mean, you talk about an engaged, active learner, someone who is truly investing in their success. That is Rosie. So Rosemary, thank you so much for providing your input and your perspective to so many others. You're commenting on their homework, their exercises, you're offering your insight, your perspective. You're really being a leader that is deeply invested in other people's success. So thank you for that. But also, congratulations on all the work you've done. So I'm excited to hear what your aha moment was and what your real breakthrough was.
Well, in my usual lovely techie style, I'm also in last place. Mortgageless Mentor is still there, so I got to figure out how to get that out. So where I was working, like Sarah, it's the transformation. I wasn't very good at explaining what happens in a conversation with me and what the transformation is. I struggle with that because I'm kind of like, well, just sit down with me and talk to me, we'll figure it out. But I'm getting a little bit better there. The brand personality was a lot of fun writing them.
Yeah, isn't that fun when you start thinking about what kind of brand do I want to build in terms of my personality that extends to my company? And how do I want others to feel when they are a client of mine? That user affiliation, right? So if someone knows that, say, Phyllis is a client of Rosie's, what does that say about Phyllis? Well, that shows that Phyllis is incredibly smart. She is very financially forward thinking. She is investing in her financial success. She is taking steps for her own financial freedom. And that's what it says about Phyllis, because she works with Rosie. And I think that's an incredibly powerful opportunity too, is to say, not only what is our personality, but what does that say about the people that we work with? So I love that for you, Rosie. Thank you for sharing. Amanda, how about you?
had two things. One was I was reading through everyone's, homework and saw some similarities with who we serve, but how differently we approach that. So I thought that was really good to point out the differentiation that we bring just through our personality when you talk about that brand personality and things like that. So that was really interesting to see how that different. The thing that I liked the best was what I solved today and what I solved next year, because when we're selling ourselves or our services, we are solving that today pain point, but it's really important that we translate next year. Yes, I'm going to help you with this right now because this is your pain right now. But here are the pillars of things that we can set up to transform your future over this next period of time. And I thought that was really important to point out so that, we can see the vision for them and help them build that as well.
So smart. Yeah, Amanda, it's all about recognizing their current pain and solving it, but also helping them see the perspective of the transformation again that we're going to enable for them, where they are now versus where they're going to be a year from now, right? And being really clear about that and setting up a vision that people are really captivated by is just so clear. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Amanda. How about you, Deborah?
Well, it's curious. I only did it today, and I'm grateful that I did it today in so much as in the last 3 days, it's been unbelievable. People have said to me, "You're really funny. You're fun." And I had not really plugged into that. So I always wave my $100 bills and I always say, yeah, they're real and there's 10 of them. And you don't see me worshiping them. This is a tool. And so I'm just jocular about money, right? And so like one of the biggest compliments anyone can pay me is, I've never heard a certified financial planner talk like you. So it's like the fun aspect, I think, like opens up this gate, if you will, of accessibility that I don't think a lot of people have. And so I'm kind of leading now with the fun because I am fun and sometimes I'm funny. So I think these analogies are very, very valuable, especially with the topic as loaded as money. So
yeah, I love that, Deborah. And, I have the privilege of knowing you, and you are clever, you are funny, you are fun. And I think it takes some of the intimidation away from financial planning. It takes some of the overwhelm and intimidation and fear away from having to work on your own current state of financial wealth and where you want to be 10 years from now, right? It takes that overwhelm away. I love that. Phyllis, so good to see you. Tell me what your aha was. What was your big moment?
Well, I think that I had already done a lot of the questions on the homework and other things before. But now, from hearing what you were talking about last week, I go deeper in the description of the psychographics of my clients and what's important to them beyond the transformation of this particular pain that we have spotlighted. So
I love that, Phyllis.
Information is, and also what was just said about the user personality and what it says about them that they choose to work with me.
Yes, exactly. And we're going to talk a lot about that. What makes you distinguishable, uncopyable today? We're going to talk about how you can leverage your own journey, your own story, in ensuring that you really are set free from this idea that you're in competition with other people. You're in a lane all by yourself. And some of that is being able to leverage your story and your experience, your journey in the way that you tell your story. Lori Darley, so good to see you, my friend. I can't wait to hear from you. What was your aha moment?
It's been an evolving one for sure, Linda, and I have not been very active on the portal, but hopefully that will change. That's my commitment, not hopefully. There is no hope. There just is commitment. But for me, it has been this recognition of 25 years in the coaching business and the transformational business, and I seem to be in this place right now where I love the recognition of fun and play. And for me, it's really about passion. And that's who I am. And I'm passionate about the work that I do. And I've become very re-inspired and reactivated in recognizing that in as my previous career as a dancer and choreographer, which was a huge passion of mine, I've always felt like I was performing, right? Even early on as a coach. And so now the performance is not about performing to please from the ego. It's about it being in service. And so I've just decided that I'm going to start working with an improv artist and do a performance keynote. And so, I don't know where that's going to go, but when I made that declaration, this guy called me out of the blue, said, "Can you show up for 5 minutes?" And so I'm going to do a little bit of spoken word on women on the
I love that
on
for you,
Friday.
Natalie. Having done ecstatic dance with you in our Costa Rica retreat, I got to tell you, this woman is all the things. She is athletic, she is grace, she is rhythm, she is performance art. That is perfect for you, Lori. And that really is, I think, pulling out of you this beautiful aspect that is really uniquely you. That's gorgeous. So we're going to have two more comments and then we're going to move on, ladies. So John and then Debbie. John, please. What was your aha moment?
I'm always so impressed I learned so much from you. And so this exercise is great for me because, as you know, I can help everybody. And so my initial target market, everybody with a brain, right? I can help them perform better. But going through your process, I realized I've totally shifted now my market to empowering others who help other people with my program. So I've started certifying therapists and trainers and business coaches, and that's a way that I love to do what I do, but they're the ones that are helping their clients and I can help them. So it's an easier focus for me, but it has a much broader impact. So
I love that, John. And honestly, you deserve every single success. You transform lives. And I think, at the end of our 4 weeks together, my prayer and certainly my intention is for you to have confidence and clarity around the story that you tell and the people that are attracted to your unique therapy, because John, it's life-changing. And so my hope is that you reach the people that you are destined to serve with purpose, right? So I love that for you. Yeah. No one more deserving than you, my friend. Debbie, how about you?
Well, I did the exercises, and at first, some of them were a little bit, the resources were a little bit beyond me. I can tell you that much. But I looked at it and see what it could feed back to me. And listening to this whole discussion, I got more clarity, even though it wasn't really pinpointed to me particularly. It gave me more clarity at being precise. And my whole point is making people aware of their health and how they can transform. And awareness is something that I bring forward to everybody. And sometimes they don't move forward because, I can do this on my own. But that's okay. I brought awareness to them. And that's all that really matters.
I love that, Debbie. That is great. And I would say that over the next 3 weeks, that level of clarity is going to come, I think, even sharper. So I'm excited for everyone to continue to work the process. I think someone earlier said, Sarah, the answers I gave a week ago have already begun to change. And I'm already beginning to layer in a deeper level of transformation for my clients than what I even realized last week. So you're going to see that this is an evolution. After today's session, I think all of you are going to have even more ideas, inspiration, motivation to continue to evolve. So I love that. And all of you are invited to a working session this Friday, which I will tell you more about. But we're going to have a dedicated working session for all of you to actually work on your exercises and your resources from week 1 and week 2. So Debbie, if you wanted to go through the resources that were a value add bonus in week 1, that is a great place to do that. So I can't wait for everyone to be able to take advantage of that. All right. So now we're going to keep on going. We're going to dive in even further into just what we're going to cover this week. But before we dive in, just a few quick reminders to help all of us get the most out of today. First, please make sure to mute yourself unless you're speaking. This helps keep things, running smoothly for everyone. Note that all AI recording devices are not allowed. So we encourage you to take notes, Stay engaged and be ready to participate. Keep in mind that this is a working session, so respond, ask questions, take action. We love that. And yes, if you want to win any raffles or giveaways, you've got to be here and be present. So stick around to the end. Now, we do thrive on community. That's why we've created a dedicated community page. So don't hold back. Share your exercises, share your insights, your ideas, because you never know who you're going to inspire. It could be your next client. It could be your next customer. Your voice matters here. And we want to be sure that all of you are active in our community and that you are able to gain the most benefit possible for the next 3 weeks. And remember, success really is in your hands. You have to own your results, show up fully, and lean into this incredible community. So let's grow together. I'm so excited all of you have joined us. And again, keep in mind that if you want to go deeper, we're going to have a session this Friday, which is just a working session. It's literally a workshop for 1 hour at 9 a.m. Central that all of you are warmly invited to be a part of. Okay. So let's talk about creating a message with momentum. This is where we move from information to inspiration. In the old messaging paradigm, we focused on credentials and offerings. Who are you? What do you sell? How will it help me? That kind of messaging is functional, but it's not transformational. And today, women are craving something deeper. They want to feel known. And that's why we shift into the new paradigm of communication, one that builds momentum by building trust. Now, the questions in this new paradigm sound more like this. Do you really know me? Can you really help me? Do I believe you? Is it worth it? And do you understand what I really need? Now, when your message answers these questions, your audience doesn't just listen, they lean in. Because now you're not just speaking at them, you're speaking to them. And that's when momentum really starts to build. So today, we're not just crafting a message, we're creating meaningful connection. So let's make sure your words actually move people. And that begins with your story. This is one of my favorite concepts in building a personal brand that stands out authentically and powerfully. I have a hard time with that word, authentically. This is all how to be distinguishable, uncopyable, and irresistible. Your DUI is your unique blueprint. It's what sets you apart in the sea of sameness. It's the foundation of how you're seen, how you're heard, and most importantly, how you are remembered. So let's quickly break it down. Distinguishable means that you're clearly different, that your story, your voice, your perspective, it stands out. Listen, we have several people with us that are financial coaches, financial advisors, money managers, wealth advisors. But every single woman here that's in that financial industry, they all have a unique story, a unique voice, a unique perspective. And where the gold really is being able to ensure that you're not blending in. You're not competing on noise. You're setting yourself apart through clarity and authenticity. Number 2 is uncopyable. This is your secret sauce. It's the combination of your life experiences, values, skills, and purpose that no one else can replicate because it's yours and yours alone. Competitors might try to imitate your model, but they cannot duplicate your own journey. And irresistible means that your message is in complete alignment with what your ideal client is feeling and seeking. And when she hears you speak, she sees herself. And that kind of resonance is absolutely magnetic. So now I have to ask you, what makes you distinguishable? What about your journey is uncopyable? And what would make your message simply irresistible to the women you're meant to serve? Let's define it, own it, and lead with it. I want to see in the chat what you think makes your message simply irresistible to the women that you're meant to serve. Now, I say women, but it can be men. So think about your ideal audience. When she hears you speak, she sees herself. And that kind of resonance is absolutely magnetic. So what makes you distinguishable? What about your journey is uncopyable? Add it into the chat. And I can't wait to see what is hitting you, just top of mind, what is coming up for you. All right. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about being the very best version of you every single day. This is your reminder that you don't need to become someone else to succeed. You simply need to become more fully you. The people that are most authentic, most genuine, those are the people that are most magnetic. The most powerful thing you can offer your clients, your audience, and your business is to be the version of you that is intentional, aligned, and absolutely lit up with purpose. When you show up from that place, you create a distinguishable experience, one that no one else can replicate. I gotta tell you, that is your superpower. So yes, stand up, speak out, let your message be bold, let your presence be felt. The women that you're meant to serve, they are gonna hear you and they are going to respond. And as we talk about building momentum, I want you to hear this clearly. Comparison is the enemy of clarity. Say that again. Comparison is the enemy of clarity. Don't measure your success against someone else's highlight reel or what you think is their highlight reel. Don't try to replicate what another successful person is doing because their path isn't your path. Their brilliance isn't your brilliance. Your journey is uniquely yours. And when you honor that, you don't just grow, you glow. You absolutely become magnetic. Now, let's talk about your unique brilliance. It's every single woman in this room, every single woman on this call has a kind of brilliance that is uniquely hers. It's an intersection of passion, purpose, experience, and intuition that no one else can replicate. But here's the key. Brilliance doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers, and that's okay. If you're not intentional about naming it, honoring it, and building around it, it can actually stay hidden. Sometimes you have to listen to those whispers. So this is your invitation to get crystal clear about what makes you magnetic. Ask yourself, what do people consistently come to you for? What part of your work feels effortless, even when it's meaningful? Where do you feel most aligned, most fully alive? I gotta tell you, those are hints, they're breadcrumbs that begin to lead your path to the unique brilliance that you offer. That's your magic. And when you lead from that place with intention, with purpose, and with heart, you not only grow your business, you inspire others to rise too. So today, let's stop shrinking, okay? Let's make an agreement. We are going to stop shrinking. We're going to stop second guessing. We're going to define our brilliance and then boldly, consistently live it. Sound good? Put a yes in the chat if you are ready to do that work. All right. Let's talk about the DUI model, right? So we just talked about that. That's what makes you distinguishable, uncopyable, irresistible. We've talked a little bit about what that means, and now it's time to bring it together. The DUI model helps you anchor your brilliance in 3 key areas. Number 1, your message, the story you tell, the promise you make, the transformation that you lead others through. Number 2 is your manner. This is how you show up. It's your tone of voice. It's your energy. It's your presence. And let me just say, you don't have to be full of fire to be seen and heard. One of the women that just joined leadHERship Global that I have the most admiration for, she is also the most shy. And in fact, she calls herself the quiet warrior. She absolutely loathes being on video. She is incredibly shy. She's very reserved. She's very introverted. And yet she's exceptional because she's embraced that. That's where her personal brand truly shines. So your manner doesn't have to be the example of what it is to be a extroverted, bigger than life personality. It needs to be authentically you. And the last part of this model I really want to focus on is your methods. This is your proven processes, your systems, your tools that create consistent, repeatable results. And in the center of it all, well, that's where momentum is born. When your mindset aligns with your methods and you show up with a clear message, everything begins to flow. Your energy increases, your confidence expands, your results accelerate. So I tell you, this model is more than just a strategy. It's all about alignment. It's about creating an integrated experience where everything you offer is a reflection of your purpose, your power, and your unique path. So let's work from that center where your momentum becomes magnetic. And let's break down message, manner, and method. Ready? All right. So first, we're going to talk about your message. This is the heart of how you communicate your value, your purpose, and your promise. You start with your umbrella statement. This is your overarching, outcome-focused declaration. It captures the transformation that you offer and sets the expectation for your audience. Ladies, it should feel like a rallying cry, something that could live on your homepage, maybe in your tagline, and in every single introduction you make. Then we move into your markers and milestones. This is what I like to call your invisible thread, right? This is part of your unique journey. Your markers are the defining moments, the challenges you face, the lessons you've learned, the insights that you've turned into methodologies. Your milestones are the victories, those measurable results, those transformations that validate what you teach and demonstrate the real world impact of your work. And I got to tell you, nothing is better here than testimonials of the people that you have served. Now, next is one of my favorite reminders, which is less and more. How many of you have heard that? Less is more. Well, there is no place where this is more accurate than your message. In today's noisy world, clarity cuts through. Don't try to be everything to everyone. Avoid jargon like the plague. Choose simplicity. Speak directly and meaningfully to your ideal client. When your message is clean, clear, and confident, it resonates much more deeply. Finally, embrace your signature sayings and slogans. Now, all of us have those. These are the pearls of wisdom that challenge old thinking and reflect your thought leadership. They can become your branded language. This is catchy, memorable phrases that clients repeat and associate with you. How many of you have a favorite TV show? And in that TV show, there is some sort of offhanded remark, some sort of quip, some sort of clever phrase that then becomes associated with that TV show. I can tell you, these are not just sayings, they're signals of transformation. So, for example, in leadHERship Global, some of our signature sayings and slogans include real relationships lead to revenue. That alliteration is helpful. Real relationships lead to revenue. Or you can't get to the right destination with the wrong relationships. Another that we use is what you celebrate, you cultivate. When you choose your community, you're choosing your future. Another one that is my personal favorite, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. There's not competition in your calling. You're in a lane all to yourself. And last couple examples, there is a purpose in your pain. Your pain can become your platform. And the last one that you'll hear from leadHERship Global quite a bit is you have to be strategic in your relationships. Everyone needs two things: to belong and to matter. And that's what we built leadHERship Global from, to ensure that everyone receives those two strategic payoffs to belong and to matter. Now, when you bring all these elements together, your message becomes more than words. It literally becomes a movement. And isn't that what we're here to build? A movement for each and every one of you. Now let's talk about your method. Now that your message is clear, we're going to now talk about bringing structure to how you deliver transformation. And this is where your method becomes your signature. And we're going to start with intellectual property. This is the unique sequence that you walk your clients through. It's the proprietary framework that takes them from struggle to success. These are the steps, the strategies, the systems that reflect how you work and what makes your approach effective. For leadHERship Global, we talk about the leadHERship difference. It's a comprehensive methodology that accelerates every single member's success, no matter how they define success. So we need to build your signature system. This could look like a flow from marketing to message to mindset to money to momentum, or whatever version of that path aligns with your brand. What matters most is that your system is repeatable, recognizable, and rooted in real transformation, just like the leadHERship difference. When you have a signature system, it gives your audience confidence and it gives your business clarity. And then next, we're going to define your core principles. These are your non-negotiables. These are statements that anchor your methodology and reflect your values. Some of the phrases we use at leadHERship Global that anchor our methodology and reflect our values are phrases like purpose before profit. Real relationships lead to revenue, and lead with value first and always. These principles are not just, I think, pretty memorable. They help create emotional resonance and trust. They remind your audience what you believe in and why your work matters. Your method is more than just a process. It's the heartbeat of your brand. Think about that. Your method is your signature. It's the heartbeat of your brand. So we have to make sure that it reflects your brilliance and empowers your clients to move forward with confidence. And then lastly, we're going to talk about your manner. Your manner is how your brand feels to other people. It's your presence, it's your energy, it's your voice in action. You start with your signature brand, right? That blend of your voice, values, and vision. It's what makes you instantly recognizable, absolutely uncopyable. Your charisma comes from being fully aligned and authentic. And your fantastic five are the 5 qualities that define how you want to show up consistently. They help you stay grounded, and they help you stay on brand. And we're going to talk a little bit more about your fantastic 5 next week. So do not miss next week, where we talk about media. We talk about your core values in your fantastic 5. Now, let's bring in 3 essentials. This is at the heart of that diagram: your mindset, your methods, and your momentum. Your mindset is really your opportunity to position your offering as the choice in your space. It is the choice. You need to lead with your insight and your innovation. You need to be the voice your audience turns to for clarity and trust. Methods, again, here you're building compelling offers and signature solutions that align with your brand. Here is where you create multiple ways for your clients to work with you. Could be online courses, could be masterminds, could be group coaching. And this is also where you offer tiers like good, better, best. In leadHERship Global, we have grow your leadership, expand your influence, and leave a legacy. Those are our tiers. You need to create tiers that align with your brand and that reinforce your offer. And lastly, momentum. You want to design an irresistible giveaway that solves a real pain point and begins the relationship. It just simply starts the relationship. You can use your thank you page to reinforce your value and actually to invite the very next step. Your manner is what makes your message magnetic. Let it reflect the very best version of you every single day. All right. So now we're going to talk a little bit about a clear message. One of the most powerful tools in your messaging is the word imagine. It's simple, but it opens doors in your client's mind. It helps her see herself in the transformation that you're offering. So instead of talking about what you do, help her picture what's possible. It can be something like this. Here's what you're going to get, right? Be clear, be confident, be outcome focused. Here's how you're going to get it. Again, outline the process very simply. Avoid jargon. And lastly, here's what your life or your business will look like after. This is painting the transformation in a way that feels personal and empowering. And always make your language about you, because your audience wants to see themselves in the story. They want to be the hero in the hero's journey, right? So try this. Here's an example, right? We're just going to play with examples. Imagine feeling completely clear in your message, aligned in your offers, and confident every single time you speak about your business. That's what this journey is all about. Now, that's just an example that I kind of gave off the cuff around this masterclass. But the word imagine creates emotional resonance. It turns your offer into a vision. And when women can see themselves in the outcome, they're already halfway to saying yes. All right. So let me tell you a really quick and easy way to put this into action. We're going to talk about the you know how exercise. This is one of those powerful tools that you can have in your messaging toolbox, your 5-second hook. This one sentence, and I mean it, one sentence can open the door to real connection. It positions you as a problem solver. It makes you instantly relatable, and it creates curiosity that leads to that magical phrase, oh, wow, that's interesting. Tell me more, right? Every single time you introduce yourself, you should be aiming for the person you're speaking to simply say, oh, wow, tell me more. That's all you have to do is invite them to give you the cue to tell you more. Now, the structure for this is simple and highly effective. And I will tell you that Chris Colt really clarified this for me. So I give him lots of credit for this. Now, here's how it works. It's a very simple sentence. You know how, and then you insert the pain point that your audience is facing. Well, I help who is the target audience you help, do what? What is it that you offer them that is unique to them so that they can, and then you insert the result. Super easy. You know how, well, I help who do what so that they can have the result. Does that make sense? All right. So let me give you an example. You know how entrepreneurs have big goals to grow and scale, but they're constantly struggling to find the time, the money, or the right course of action? Well, in leadHERship Global, we help them solve the big challenges, uncover real opportunities, and accelerate their success. Boom. There you go. Easy peasy. This kind of messaging works because it immediately centers around the person you're speaking to, their struggle, their version, and their desired outcome. Your goal here is to make your potential client feel seen. The moment she hears you speak about her challenge out loud, well, then she begins to trust you. So let's work on crafting a hook that feels aligned with who you are and irresistible to who you serve. This is where the conversation starts and where the relationship begins. Now, I know we only have 15 minutes left, but I would love for all of you to jump in and to add something into the chat here that allows you to try this out. Just simply try this out. I'm going to put it in the chat. Here you go. Here's the formula. You know how pain point your audience is facing. Well, I help who do what so that they can see the result. Make sense? All right. I'd love for you guys to jump into chat and just try this yourself. Now, in Friday's workshop, we're going to go through this together. We're going to actually work on this together. And this is part of your homework exercise too, the you know how exercise. All right. So next, I'm going to go through a formula that I think is incredibly powerful. And again, I give Chris Colt a lot of credit here because again, he really helped clarify a lot of this particular formula for me and for leadHERship Global too. All right, this formula is really your secret weapon for delivering a short, high impact message that gets attention and moves people into action, especially in emails, direct messages, networking moments, or even interviews. So let's walk through it. The hook, well, this is where you start. It is a direct, eye-opening observation that speaks to what your audience is facing now, right? That's your hook. Your value is where you quickly and clearly state what you do in a way that directly benefits your target audience. Number 3 is proof. This is where you share a quick stat, a result, or an example that begins to build credibility, that maybe shows the problem or shows the result, right? And then last is risk reversal. This is where you eliminate any hesitation by removing friction or fear. It makes it feel safe to say yes. And action is you close with a very simple conversational invitation that encourages the next step. So I'm going to give you an example. Are you ready? Okay. Sally, did you know that only 50% of women entrepreneurs like us will survive their first 5 years of business? Well, leadHERship Global helps women in leadership reach their most ambitious goals faster. Our members increase their revenue an average of 32% in the first year. You think that's worth a quick chat? Now, that's an example. And by the way, that's all very true. That's happened to be based in fact. Our members do increase their revenue by an average of 32% the first year, and only 50% of women entrepreneurs survive their first 5 years of business. And we're out to change that. Here's another example. Sally, did you know women entrepreneurs face specific challenges like 34% lower first-year revenue and slower business growth than their male-owned counterparts? Well, leadHERship Global helps women in leadership reach their most ambitious goals faster. Our members increase their revenue by an average of 32% in their first year. Think that's worth a quick chat? Now, you see how every single piece builds on the one before them. This approach helps keep the focus on them while showcasing your value and creating a very clear next step and one that is frictionless. Think it's worth a chat? Think it's worth just a quick call? So let's craft one together that reflects your voice, your mission, your brilliance. When this is done right, I got to tell you, this formula turns casual conversations into powerful opportunities. Now, this is going to be in your homework too. And I'm really excited for each and every one of you to dive in and share your homework with each other and offer your perspectives and your critiques of everyone else's 5-second hook and compelling 5-minute origin story. Now, if you want to begin working on this, again, we're going to have a working session together this Friday, and you are welcome to bring your initial thoughts and ideas together to that session. All right. So next, we're going to talk about your origin story, right? Your 5-second hook and story. Now, I know all of you know that in today's incredibly fast-paced, always scrolling world, your message has to be short, it has to be clear, it has to be captivating, especially if it's going into an inbox or a direct message or a social caption. So this formula helps you cut through the noise and make a meaningful connection in just a few seconds. Problem, solution, offer. I mean, pretty direct. You start by showing the problem, you name it clearly so your audience feels seen. Then you teach the solution, you give a glimpse of what your method or insight offers, something that builds credibility without giving everything away. It just gives a hint. And then finally, you explain your offer. You share what's next and how they can take action if they're ready for more. Again, you're trying simply to get your audience to say, oh, wow, that's interesting. Tell me more. And this structure does more than just communicate. It really does build trust. It tells your audience, I see what you're struggling with. I know how to help, and I've made it easy to take the next step. All right. The last exercise that I'm going to offer you guys today is just incredibly powerful. It's called the 3-part offer framework. Okay. And it's exactly what it sounds like. This is where we take your offer and turn it into a yes-worthy experience, one that speaks not just what you do, but how your ideal client wants to feel. And here's the very simple structure. Number 1, what's the action? You start with a functional, straightforward service or solution that you provide. In the example, it's hire an appointment center. I mean, it's super quick and easy. Hire an appointment center. But then you explain what the payoff is. You share the experiential benefit, how it improves her day-to-day life or workflow. To book qualified calls every single week. And then number 3 is the outcome. This connects to the emotional result, ultimately what she desires. So you never have to worry where the next client is coming from. Boom, that's it. Functional, experiential, and then outcome. And it's one sentence. Hire an appointment setter to book qualified calls every single week so you never have to worry where the next client is coming from. This framework helps your audience move from understanding your offer to emotionally investing in it. Because when women hear what you do, how it will help and why it truly matters, it becomes more than just a service. It becomes the solution that they've been waiting for. So again, in your homework, you're going to craft a 3-part framework so that your message resonates deeply and drives action. Now, I know we're close to time, so I'm going to run through this quickly, but I got to tell you, all of you need a portfolio of offerings. This is where we step into a more intentional sales strategy, one that honors your expertise, recognizes your audience needs, and the way real buying decisions are made. And first, a reminder, provide excellence. Don't chase money. That's fruitless. When you lead with value and consistency, the revenue follows naturally. And here's what we know. Most buyers don't decide immediately. In fact, data tells us that only 3% of people would take action right away. 44% of people need to see it 8 times or more before they make a decision. About the time you are sick of inviting people to your masterclass, that's the time they're just seeing the message. And that's why consistency of your message is everything. And when they finally do say yes, they want to see options. So you need a portfolio of products or services that meet them where they are. You could start with a low barrier, high value offer, something that gets them in the door. Then you upsell them to a second tier offer, your signature program, your deeper transformation. And then finally, present a premium experience for your most committed clients. Now, keep in mind that statistically, only 10 to 20% will take the first offer. 40 to 50% will opt into your second offer, and 30% will say yes to that third, deeper level transformation. Now, it's also always smart to reward fast action. Offer a valuable bonus to those who commit within, I would say, 24 to 48 hours. But make sure it's a bonus they actually want, something meaningful and aligned with their journey. Whether you're offering done for you, done with you, or do-it-yourself solutions, remember, you're not just selling a service, you're building trust, you're guiding a journey, and you're creating a space for success. And isn't that what great leaders do? You're creating a space for them to invest in their own success. All right. So again, here's your homework for week 2. It's your turn to take the insights from today and turn them into momentum. I've put together 3 simple, powerful exercises that will help you craft messaging that's not just clear, but compelling and completely aligned with your brilliance. And don't forget that there is a bonus for everyone who attended today. We're offering a working session this Friday, May 16th at 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern. In this session, we'll be giving away incredibly special offers and incredibly valuable giveaways, so don't miss it. All right. So my final encouragement is, I got to tell you, in my experience, visibility becomes effortless when your target audience and your key messages are crystal clear and they're aligned with your deeper mission. The goal is not to do more. It's actually to do less with greater clarity, greater consistency, and greater intention. As you take bold strategic steps forward, know that you're not just growing your brand, you're building a movement of influence and trust. And I got to tell you, I'd love to support each and every one of you in choosing the right platform, crafting a content rhythm, mapping your visibility efforts. I would be honored to help guide you. So please do join us on Friday for that live, in-depth workshop. And I got to tell you, more than that, if you're not already a member of leadHERship Global, I'd truly love to welcome you into our leadHERship Global community. It's a circle of bold, purpose-driven women who are waiting to support you, to collaborate with you, and to champion your growth. So let this be a moment that you step in fully.